Hey there everybody, Joe here. Thanks for tuning in again. So I'm back on my Leviathan painting, and at this point I'm just trying to adjust things little by little to make this picture look more natural, make it have more movement that looks believable, and basically enhance everything that I've already got the concept of. But it's normal for me to paint a picture quickly in order to get my mind wrapped around the concept and then work with smaller things. And I think that's a pretty ordinary procedure for an artist, to start with the bigger picture and then work on the smaller things. But one of those things that I think really will help this is I'm going to turn this guy's head a little bit, because it's just straight up and down, and I want to avoid anything that looks like it posed for the picture. I think in paintings, to me, it comes across as a very old-fashioned way of painting that is not necessarily worse, just not to my liking, where everything is so perfectly composed and staged that, I mean, it really looks pretty, but it looks like it posed for a picture. And so kind of like in the same way that photography has evolved, people refer to as candid pictures, where you're just kind of getting everyday expressions and motions in the shot, and the composition isn't necessarily superposed, right? So I want this to have that same feel. This head, if I just kind of tilt it, just make it feel like maybe he's whipping it one way or the other. This chain I'm going to complete so that it's continuing across the front. This guy's ducking out of the way, looking over at this anchor. You can't see this very well right now, but I want him to be like, real shocked, because he almost got decapitated by this big metal anchor coming across. So this chain will help with that, and maybe I'll strategically put a background behind this that makes it more visible. I adjusted the neck of my Leviathan since the last video, and the way I've adjusted the curves on it is by using my light blue violet color. This is just a general color mixed, a grayish violet. Blue violet is really what it is. I used red, blue, black, and white to make this color, and you can see those colors down. I mean, all of this painting are these same colors. I'm going to uncover it and point the camera down here so that you can see what I'm working with for this whole thing. So the way I made this color for the reflection, I'm just considering, grayish colored dragon with blue-violet colored light from this night sky reflecting off of it. So my result is a grayish blue-violet. And I use that to make any surface look like it's going away from me this way. So you can see everywhere I put that color, I've made an edge tilt this way just by changing the color to that blue-violet gray color, because it translates to a resulting reflection if I'm careful to fine-tune that so that it's in between these grays and these violets, and then it looks like that reflection. Same on the guy's skin, I'm using, just considering what the light would do if it mixes the color of the skin, the color of the light. These guys, I thought it'd be cool to make these guys look like they're kind of native, darker skinned race, like ancient fishermen or something that are coming into contact with this beast. This guy, he reminds me of kind of looks like a 50-50 mix of Mel Gibson and my friend Ricky Rogers, who is Navajo. He just came out looking like that. I'm gonna maybe see if I can work on that face a little bit more. So my next project is going to be tilt this head a little bit, and then I would like to beef up the shoulder here. I worked on this fin so that it had a little bit more, I flattened it out and put a shadow on the bottom so that it looks like maybe it's tilted this way and a little maybe bigger and broader. It looked kind of funny the way I had it. It looked a little bit crippled. So that happens, you know, every time I do a creature, a person, initially, and you can go back to the earlier videos of this on my people, they always look deformed when I first start. But it's easier for me to adjust the things that I see that look off than to try to nail it the first time. Now my plan of action for this head is to just as little adjustment as possible, because that's a lot of detail to mess with. But I feel like it's really going to be an improvement, even on the expression. If I tilt his head this way, then that's going to make his eyes tilt more toward the middle of his, make him have like a more fierce, angry look, because it'll change this angle in relationship to the head and put these kind of pointing inward toward the nose more, rather than the up and down look. I'll just mix these primaries right on this canvas so that you can see how I'm getting to these colors. A night scene is very much like a daytime scene, just dark. You know, I'm using all the same relationships of color, like the clouds that you see here. You can watch my How to Paint Clouds video and see that I use a transitionary color. I use more red, where it's mixing and transitioning from the highlight to the shadow. I use the same thing in here. It's just that black, or this dark red and blue mix, is added to everything. It's just all darker, but the same relationships are there to make it a night scene. Darker, blacker, and bluer. Maybe not bluer, just darker. Okay, now you can see that's a lot of blue. I'll add some red. This red and blue make a very dark color. You know, when I was first starting out painting murals, or doing any paintings for that matter, I was kind of, you know, shooting from the hip, and I had heard that using black wasn't good, so I would always use this for my black, this red and blue mix. And I got curious one day, why not use black? It's darker and I need more contrast, so why not just use it? After all, I do see completely colorless shadows sometimes. I mean, I was just using logic. And it makes my pictures look more three-dimensional if I have something in there somewhere that is a fully concentrated black, a pure black. I personally like the look of it better because it's, you know, I can get my darkest shadow possible. So it really was just a matter of using it well. That, you know, that I think that it's really easy to use black in a way that makes the picture look grayer. You know, you'll use a black in a shadow color, and then you'll put a highlight on it, and then the combo makes them more gray. And I think that's the problem that people run into, is that everything looks more gray. So what you do, only add black to a midtone. Start with your color and choose whether you're going to add black or white to it. Always start from that color. And you can see other videos where I'm using a midtone or a transitionary color. I'm going to take this area and put black and white on there. Black and white. That's how I made this color. It was just the gray result of mixing black and white. And I'm going to change the location of this fin a little bit, make it coming from right here instead. And then I'll put this part of the head coming down here. This might take a little bit of you know, working back and forth, messing around with this thing, but I don't think this will be too big of a task to change this. All right, so I'm lowering this eye that's visible on the other side. Yeah, I'm gonna do it like that. And then this fin is way up here, so I think that'll help a lot. Let's go ahead and make that back area darker. So I'm going to go closer to the color of that background, but just barely lighter, because this is an upward facing surface. So let me add that red-blue background color in. Let's see, that's kind of blue, so I'll add a little more red. Got to get I always, when I'm mixing colors, I get the balance between the colors first and then address lightness or darkness. That's just my go-to process for it. So now that I feel like I've got the balance between the red and the blue, now I'll come in here and work on the lightness of it. So I want that eye to be lower than this one, so it looks like it's tilted this way. Put that knob on his head coming down this way. And I definitely have a lot more blue in there than I want, so I'm going to put more red. See, I try to get the color dialed in first. That does not mean that I succeed. There we go. Now this here, you know, I want to work on those angles there too. Let me think about this. This is kind of a good reflection color. So I'll a little palette, since I'm working on small areas, I'll put that lighter color on top of this eye to really make that look like it's facing up right there, and then I come across the nose, keeping my lines tilted. Yeah, there we go, that's cool. So maybe I can put these two sections, I put these segments on here like the top of a snake's head. I chose to do that because it helped me to define all of the angles. You know, if you have lines suggesting the shape of something, as well as colors suggesting the shape of something, it makes it that much more believable. It looks that much more convincing when you have more than one thing. I always talk about having more than one thing telling the same story. Okay, well, that's about enough progress for this week for me on this picture. I'm always just getting to the point where I can sleep at night and I can put the brush down and say, there, I've made progress. Now I can, rest at ease until I get back on it again. I get real obsessed with incompleted tasks on my paintings, or especially if it's a part of the picture that I'm having trouble accomplishing, which is very often. And so I'll drive myself insane by just being mad that it's beating me. And I just need to win, before I can go home and sleep. All right, so I'm looking at comments on last week's video, which was drawing mine and my brother's face side by side, just showing how to capture facial likeness, a pencil drawing. David Robot says I look like Steve McQueen, and Ben, you look like a pirate, I guess. I see the resemblance with the Steve McQueen. I Googled an image of Steve McQueen because I didn't know who it was, I'm sorry. I got a narrower forehead, I got a real skinny forehead. Even when I was a baby, in all my baby pictures, it looks like a gourd shape, all skinny on the temples. My big hair helps to camouflage it. Thank you, Miguel, for saying you're a great artist and seem to know everything about everything. I know I try to tell my friends and my wife that, but I'm trying to get them to see it this way. As a result of investigating a lot and living art 24 hours a day. God bless you. Well, God bless you too. And I definitely do not know everything about everything. I thank God for the excitement that I have for the subject. I just love the organization and the way things work together to make things happen for us visually. The human experience is so amazing, and the way light is perceived and creates the different things that we recognize is just absolutely stunning and amazing and exciting for me. So I didn't discover that until late in life, but it really is the excitement level that causes me to just stay focused for a long amount of time and take in a lot of information. But I'm telling you, man, the old sayings are true. The more you learn, the less you know. That is true for myself. Shark E says, Tom Cruise and Abraham Lincoln. Okay. You should see our grandpa. He can turn sideways, and his beard is like the exact profile of the Abraham Lincoln on the penny. The art worker says, I follow your channel since 2014. All right, cool. Thanks for the continued support. I appreciate that very much. KK Slider says, awesome video as always. Hey, thanks for the compliment. I've learned so much from you. I love your shirt, by the way. Haha. Where'd you get it? Well, my wife and my son were like, I don't know, maybe Kohl's clothes shopping and just saw it and thought of me. I'm wearing it today too, but I have to try to stock up on lots of different shirts, because there's a certain point when you make video after video after video, people start saying, that guy always wears the same shirts. He probably smells terrible. I love Bob Ross. He is a awesome example to follow. Tea Time says, cool that you used just a regular cheapo pencil, no fancy equipment needed. Yes, that is true. No fancy equipment needed, but being able to get darker and lighter values with different pencils I think definitely can be an enhancement. Sarah Wood says, feel like this will help me to pay attention to details in a different way. Thank you. Well, thank you, Sarah, for sharing that. That's very encouraging to me. TJ Francis says, yes, please. I want to see the drawings from when you were a kid. I'll definitely grab that, put it in a video. I had mentioned in that video a really thick binder that my mom put together. She saved lots of old drawings from childhood. I definitely should show that. Lastly is Blue Guitar Music Thirst. Ha! First comment on the video. Good job. Congratulations. Just worked on a face today and couldn't get it out of the uncanny valley. This is exactly what I need. Thank you, Miro Joe. Hey, thank you for sharing that report with me, because I really am encouraged to hear that my material is being found useful. That's the best thrill that I can get out of this. It's much greater than hearing about how nice any particular work of art I do is. What really gives me the biggest thrill is to hear, thanks for the help. That's kind of what I live for. So thanks for tuning in again, and I look forward to seeing you again next time.